Hey guys, David Wampler here with Atlas Gunworks. Today I'm going to show you what I like to do with my old springs and followers that came out of my competition mags. So what I'm going to end up doing now is I'm going to do a quick polish of the spring and cleaning of the spring because there's still quite a bit of life left on those springs. Just because they've been used in the competition mags doesn't mean they're completely used up. I like to have competition magazines as well as practice magazines that get a lot more wear and tear. So with that being said, let me go through and kind of show you guys what I do in transitioning these springs and followers to my practice mags. So first, I'm going to go ahead, take my practice mag that I have here. I'm going to take the base plate off. Make this real simple. Pop that base plate off. Take this old spring out. I'll set that to the side. Magazine tube, good to go there. Base plate, good to go there. Now what I'm going to do is I got the new or the old, well, the used spring and follower from my competition mags. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop off that follower very simply. I'm going to set that spring to the side right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what I like to do. And how I like to polish those springs is I actually utilize the same media tumbler that I do for cleaning my brass. I like to actually use corncob media as it's a little bit less dusty and it's a little bit cleaner on the spring itself. I also like to use either one of these polishes. Makes it real simple. This is really cheap on Amazon. This stuff is a little bit more purpose driven, a little bit more expensive, but works just the same. It's up to you which one you want to choose. A lot of times I go with the new car polish, but because I got the tumbler and the flits here, I'm gonna go ahead and use this. So what I like to do first and foremost, see if I can focus this here. You'll notice on this actual spindle for the tumbler itself, how I covered it with a little bit of cloth. What that does is it not only protects the spring from the threads, it has some place to actually keep the spring from binding up against this threaded post that holds the lid on top of the tumbler. It's just one extra thing I do to kind of make sure that that spring's not getting marred up in the polishing process. So now I'm going to take this, shake it up. I'm going to put just a little bit of additive in here. Doesn't take much. This is a little bit used media. It's a little bit dark, but it's still fine for my practice springs and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn that on. Let me come down here. I'm going to let that cycle for just a little bit. And what we'll do is after that cycles for a little bit, it doesn't take much. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn this puppy off real fast. And I'm simply just going to lay my spring in there. I like to tumble for about 90 minutes. Not anything crazy, but what it's going to do is just going to give a chance to really get a good polish on that spring. And what it does is it allows that really smooth texture to happen so that when you are utilizing it in practice, and generally people don't take their practice mags apart that often, it'll actually allow them to run smoother for a longer amount of time. All right. It just lasts a little bit longer between cleanings. All right, guys, now that we're done tumbling, it's been in here for about 90 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this thing off. Take the lid off the top. Come in here. I'm gonna go dig around for my spring. I like to use gloves just so you don't get excessive lead exposure. Spring doesn't look too different, but it does have a uniform tint to it, which just definitely shows that it was polished. Awesome. Now what I want to do before I put it back in, or before I put the follower back on it, I want to take a minute, just have a clean microfiber here that I'm going to run the spring through, just to get any of the impurities, any dust that could have kind of happened from the tumbling process. Go through this, work this spring all the way through. Here we go here. And you can tell just a little bit that there's some little bit of dust buildup, but not much. I mean, you can tell this is pretty clean. All right, now that we're done doing that, I'm gonna come down here. Let me go ahead, put the follower back on the spring. It's very simple, straightforward. A little media right there. I like to put the front in first. Then what I do, I take my little screwdriver here, just take a little bit of push here, and and it just pushed right on in. There we go. Now that we have the spring and the follower reconnected, we can go ahead, just reassemble the mag. Simple as that. Boom. In and retaining pin. And ready to go, ready to practice. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what processes you guys use in maintaining your match mags and your practice mags. I'll see you guys on the range.